guys, welcome back to my channel. So it's been a while since I posted a video, and that's because I've been busy with a lot of stuff for the past few weeks. I've been busy with my birds. One of my birds got sick and she sadly passed away. Not the one that's always in my videos, that's Mochi, but I had another bird, a budgie, and she passed away. So I was busy with that, and then Mochi got really depressed, so we had to get Mochi another bird. And with new birds, you have to tame them and get them used to the house. So we're still in that process, but finally have some time to sit down and make a video. And also just like some other stuff that I've been busy with, like on my priorities list, because YouTube isn't like my highest priority. Lifting is pretty high. I do almost all my workouts when I'm supposed to do them, but it's just like the video production and talking stuff that isn't very high in priority. But if you follow me on Instagram, you know that I'm still following my schedule. I'm still lifting. So in last time's video, I talked about how I will be doing a mock meet in the middle/end of December, and that is still on. So I'm currently in the last week of a 4-week block. That is the block before my block before the meet, if that makes sense. So yeah, in this video, I'm just gonna go over some of the big lifts that I did over the past few weeks. And along with that, I will always include some technique things that I've adjusted or changed that has helped me. And then lastly, I'm going to talk about a big deadlift change that I made that has really helped my deadlifts a lot, which you guys know deadlifts is my weakest lift. So for squat, I've been in the 4 to 6 rep range on my first day squat, and then on my third day squat I do a single and then like around 3 to 5 reps back offs. So one of the highlights would be a 220 squat for 5. I did 5 sets of 5. I hate 5x5s because they're just so long and so tiring, but I still completed that. And then the week before that, I did 215 for 6, which is also a rep PR, I'm pretty sure. And for my second squat day, which is my main squat day, where I do a single first and then some back off work. For the single, what I do is I increase like half an RP every single week. So each week I add some weight, and usually for me half an RP is a 5 to 10 pound jump. So usually I take 8-pound jumps. So I'm just gonna put these all together. So on the first week of this block, I did a 248 squat single that was supposed to be at RP 6, but ended up being a little bit higher than that. The second week of this block, I did a 253 single at RP 6.5. In the third week of the block, I did a RP 7 single at 260. And today I'm going to do a RP 7.5 squat single, which I'm not going to put in this video since I'm putting in next week's video. I usually warm up with the same round jumps and go up from there based on how my last warm-up moves. And based on like how I'm feeling that day, I make a decision on what number to take at whatever RP. So today is a RP 7.5 single. Okay, so for squats, I guess the main thing that I've changed is that I've been wearing my jacket under my belt. In my meet in May, I wore my tighter belt setting. After that, I've been using a looser setting, which I feel like I could take in more air, thus being tighter. But recently, I've noticed that my belt has been pretty loose, probably because my weight always fluctuates, and I'm on the lower end right now. I'm around 130-ish now, and I did go up to 134-ish around May. So I've noticed that the tighter loop is too tight and the looser loop is too loose. It's like a 1-inch gap. So for me, I feel the strongest when I wear a jacket under my belt and I use a looser loop. So it's like a 1/2 inch difference, and I feel like that fits really well, and that gives me the best bracing, and it does make a huge difference when I work up to higher RPEs. But yeah, that's the main thing that I've changed. Other than that, just like some small cues here and there, like upper body tightness. In the past, I used to like sink the bar into my back a little, which is good since you want the bar to be a part of you and like be squatting with the bar. But the problem with that was that my upper back, like my shelf area, wasn't super tight. So I fixed that by creating more upper back tightness and like creating a better and more stable shelf for the bar to sit on, and also just like a better lower back positioning. So I low bar, so when I go down, I have to lean forward a little bit more at the start of the squat, and that makes the whole thing more smooth. Also, I'm still straightening my abductors, and I talk more about that and knee caving in this video. I only knee cave on heavy weights or high RPEs. It's not a huge problem, and I don't feel any knee pain, and it doesn't go in that much. Like, my knees are still wider than like my hip joints, if that makes sense. So knee cave is not a really big problem, but I addressed that in this video if you want to see me talk more about that. So yeah, that's basically it for squats. Squats haven't been feeling like the best recently, but it hasn't been bad, so that's good. So second, we're going to talk about bench. So with bench press, I've been doing more hypertrophy on my first bench day, and then on the second day I still do long pause benching, which works my sticking point, which is right off the chest. And then on the third day I do heavy-ish work at low reps and then some back ups, and then also Larson presses. So that's like basically how much I bench. And this week I did 135 for 6, so 1 plate for 6. I don't think I've done 135 for that many reps. And also, I don't pause my high rep work, because if I do, that's just basically cardio and I can't load that much weight. I don't pause anything 6 reps or more. I also did some 125 for 3 long pause bench last week at around RP 6. And then for like heavy bench, 2 weeks ago, I did 145 for 3. And last week I did 150 for 2. So my bench press hasn't been really good, partially because I haven't been stretching my back and stretching out my arch frequently now since I've been busy with other stuff. So like stretching is just like not on the top of my priority list, and I just forget to do it sometimes. So I need to get back into stretching more. And also, bench just hasn't been feeling that good for the past few weeks. It feels like my arms are really long and the distance I travel is pretty big, and also my pauses aren't that good. I'll be working on that for the next few weeks. And also, coach added in another heavy bench single in the beginning of the week. So for my bench press, I've noticed that I just need more heavy weight practice to get better at heavy weight. Like, I have to get used to it. So we're adding in another heavy bench single in the beginning of the week, and hopefully that should solve some of the problems. And lastly, we are at deadlifts. So deadlifts have been feeling really good for the past few weeks. So deadlifts is like really good, even though it's my weakest lift. Bench has been feeling bad, while bench is my strongest lift, I think, like based on proportions. And squat has been feeling okay. So my coach made this suggestion to me, and I've tried it for the past few weeks a little bit, and it has made my deadlift a lot better. So the suggestion that he gave to me was to round my lower back a tiny bit. First of all, I just want to say I don't recommend this to beginner lifters. Of course, as a beginner lifter, you should try to lift with straight flat back form with deadlifting. But with more intermediate and advanced lifters, this is definitely something you can play with, since if you watch powerlifting competitions, there are a lot of people who purposely deadlift with a round back. So there are a few reasons why people do this. First of all, is it creates more space between the top of your quads and your lower abs, like that area. It increases the space, and with most people, if you have more space there, you're stronger. And also allows your hips to be slightly closer to the bar, because when you round your back, the straight distance between your shoulder joints and your hip joint is a tiny bit shorter, so your hips are closer to the bar. That allows your hips to be a little bit higher, so it gives you better leverages basically. Second, it initiates the long arms cue more. And third, which is the most important, is that it helps with speed off the floor. So in my how to deadlift video, I said that if you over round your back, then the lift might be easy off the floor, but it will be hard at lockout because you have to spend energy to straighten your back at the top. But for me, my problem is off the floor. If I could get the bar off the floor, I'm going to lock it out. So I never have lockout problems. So rounding my back is a good trade-off for me, because I get to have more speed off the floor, aka getting the lift off, so I can finish the lift, which I am always able to do. I never ever have problems with lockout. So it's a worthy trade-off for me. But for example, if someone always has lockout issues and never has issues off the floor, I wouldn't recommend them rounding their back, because that would just cause their speed off the floor to be even faster and their lockout to be even harder, which makes their lift actually harder. So yeah, that's why I am slightly rounding my lower back on my deadlifts. And it's not really obvious in my sets because I don't want to like overdo it. For now, I want to slowly ease into it. But that is what I've been focusing on, and I've been playing with it for the past few weeks, and I really think it has helped my deadlifts. So for deadlifts, some of the highlights, I've done a 245 deadlift triple, which I've done before, so it's not rep PR, but it's still pretty good. 245 triple last week. And on my second deadlift day, which is my heavy deadlift day, I also do the same with squats where I go up in RPE. So for my RP6 single, a few weeks ago, I did 260. For my RP 6.5 single, I did 270. And then for my RP 7 single, I did 280, which didn't move that well. And also it was more around RP 7.5. And I think it was because I wasn't super tight with my setup. And this week I have a RP 7.5 single deadlift, which I'm aiming for around 285 to 290. And then for deadlift back off work, I've done a 225 for 5 at RP 7. And yeah, so that's basically it for my lifts in the past few weeks. I have some really heavy lifts today and in the next few days. And then after that, I have a deload and then another block into my mock meet. So I'm really excited for what is coming up. If you guys want to keep updated with my lifts, follow me on Instagram. I usually post my lifts once a week, which is faster than YouTube. And if you have any questions or comments or anything, leave them down in the comments below. And if you like the video, like it and subscribe and turn on the notification bell so you won't miss another video. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you guys soon.